Oh, I want to call to order the regularly scheduled board meeting of Community Youth District 186. And Mrs. Hines, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Bain.
Here.
Mr. Beavers.
Here.
Mrs. Brazel. Here. Mr. Green.
Here.
Mr. Brown.
Yes.
Mrs. Evaldi.
Yes.
Mr. Rungy.
Here. Next item is the Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Bain, will you lead us, please?
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next item is the approval of the agenda. Dr. Evers, are there any changes or additions
No,
of any
sir.
type? Then I will entertain a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 5 is the approval of the consent agenda, which consists of District 186 regular board meeting minutes dated November the 16th of 2021, Tri-County minutes dated November the 10th of 2021, Tri-County bills for December 2021, applications and reports. And I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item number 6 is the approval of the District 186 bills for December of 2021. Are there any questions from the board for Mrs. Bush?
I do have one. The payment to A&W, is that the last one? Or will we have more for that middle school project?
There'll be more because there's still work they're doing on the
Okay.
break. They're finishing up some swallow punch list items, and then we do know when they pulled doors at in the middle school cafeteria, that there was the belief that between the two pass-through doors, that was a solid concrete, like cinder block wall, and it was actually hollow, more of a hollow porcelain block, so they're figuring out how to remove those doors without causing more damage, and then, or having to reblock the whole space between those two doors. When you look at it, you would never guess that those were hollow. I mean, it looks like a low-bearing, like, cinder block wall until they started,
Pulling it out.
reciprocating saw, and then like, oh, it's crumbling.
We're
so.
still holding 5% retainage on the project, so we'll be paying that out once we get to the end of the
Okay.
final punch list done.
But that list is in hand, so they have the full final punch list, and then we'll be inspecting it on the Friday after we get back.
Okay.
At the end of the day, on the Friday, right after Christmas break's over, the 8th. So,
Other questions from the board?
that's the 8th.
I'll entertain a motion to approve the bills for December.
So moved. Second.
Mrs. Hines?
Mr. Bain.
Yes.
Mr. Green.
Yes.
Mr. Beavers.
Yes.
Mrs. Brazel.
Yes.
Mr. Brown.
Yes.
Mrs. Evaldi.
Yes.
Mr. Rungy.
Yes, motion carries. Item number 7 is communications. We do have 4, but before you read those, Mrs. Hines, I want to advise the board that the minutes that you received from the December meeting, from the November meeting, on page 4 was an error. Christina Elbrecht is at the middle school and not Carruthers. So just a house cleaning item there. Mrs. Hines.
This one's from Bailey Hicks. Dear Murphysboro CUSD Board of Education, I'm expecting my 3rd child this spring with a due date of April 16th, 2022. Please accept this letter as my request to utilize sick days for maternity leave beginning approximately April 15th, 2022 through the end of the school year. I plan to return at the beginning of the 22-23 school year. I will work with Mr. Ellermeyer to secure a qualified substitute to cover my high school special education classes, as well as my caseload responsibilities during my absence. Thank you in advance for your consideration. Sincerely, Bailey Hicks.
And I'll entertain a motion to approve that maternity leave.
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
This one's from Jill Whittington. Dear Murphysboro School Board and Dr. Evers, I'm writing this letter to announce my retirement at the end of the 24-25 school year. I'm giving this notice in accordance with Section 8.7 C.3.B. I am truly grateful for my time in Murphysboro School District. I have loved working at Carruthers, and I will be leaving with great memories of my time with students, their families, and the staff. many of whom I will remain dear friends. Thank you for everything, Jill Whittington.
And I'll entertain a motion to accept that retirement letter.
So move.
In a second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
This one is from Lisa Shields. Dear Murphysboro Board of Education and Dr. Annie Evers, I'm writing this letter to announce my retirement at the conclusion of the 24-25 school year. I'm giving this notice in accordance with Section 8.7, C.3.B of the current teacher contract. I am grateful for the opportunities that I've experienced while working in this district, but I am even more grateful for the children, families, and colleagues that I have been so lucky to share those years with. Thank you sincerely, Lisa Shields.
I'll entertain a motion to accept that retirement letter.
So move. I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
What year was that?
At the end of
Same year.
24-25.
24.
That's gonna be a big hole, kinda like kindergarten this year when you lose two. So in 24-25, we'll have two third grade teachers that come out together. And our roomies, they're side by side, so. Happy
This
for them.
This one is from Ashley Cripps. Good afternoon. Effective December 17th, 2021, I am resigning my position at General John A. Logan. I'm thankful for the opportunity I've been given here, but have taken another job. I'm grateful for working with the best staff and students. General John A. Logan staff has shown me nothing but kindness ever since I've started and will miss everyone so much. I hope to return someday in the near future. With love, Ashley Cripps.
And I'll entertain a motion to accept that resignation.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries, and we want to wish all four of them all the best.
Okay,
I-
go. Bye.
Oh, I'm
Last
sorry.
one. The last one's from Tammy Botkin. Dear Georgia Marshall, and to whom it may concern, I, Tammy Botkin, have decided to resign my position as a kitchen staff worker. Due to health reasons and being exhausted and in pain after each day, I have enjoyed my time working with you all. It has been a good experience. I'm sorry that I was forced into this position from being an aide, but I thank you for the opportunity. I have made some wonderful friends. My last day of employment will be Friday, 12/3/2021. Happy holidays to everyone. Thank you for everything, Tammy Botkin.
I'll entertain a motion to accept that resignation.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries, and we want to wish her all the best as well. All right, item number 8 is the fishbowl items, and I think we had a couple.
Yeah, I have one. This one's towards the middle school. It's coming from Shirley Kreinert. I'd like to express my thanks to District 186 for being so supportive in our mural unveiling. Mr. Hernan was fantastic in organizing the 350 students and making sure everything ran very smoothly. It has been a pleasure working with the administration, school board, and students on our efforts to bring public art to Murphysboro. Thank you so much.
Did anybody notice that we have a local residents book on that, in that mural?
The mills, yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
It looks absolutely awesome.
What did you say?
The mills.
Also,
are-
Terry's book, Terry Crane's book.
Terry
Yeah, so
Crane.
I thought there were two, yeah.
Oh, was there two?
Mhm.
I knew about Terry's, that was cool.
And if you have a chance, the pavilion at the middle school is completed and the benches were installed.
It looked
and it's-
good.
It looks fantastic, so it's a really nice learning space, and, those additional touches that Mr. Carrington made sure were added to, because it was elevated off of, the concrete was pretty tall. Really, really nice, and I think we'll likely have to do that at one of the high school outdoor learning space too, because it's, the grade, the concrete's pretty high off, so building those benches, it's beautiful, it looks like students could just sit down and grab a book or start a science experiment, so. Those 3 outdoor pavilions are ready for student use and teacher use, so really nice learning classrooms, so check out the mural, go to the football field area and check out the new outdoor learning space. It's, really nice to enter winter with some finished spaces, so.
I think we have one more fishbowl.
Yeah, it's on a lot of the same topic here, but this is from Shirley Kreinert, addressed to the Murphysboro School Board and Dr. Evers. But Revitalize 62966, and in particular the Revitalize 62966 Art Committee, would like to thank the Murphysboro School District for supporting our efforts to bring public art to our community. We would also like to recognize 2 outstanding teachers that were supporting our efforts by allowing their students to participate in one of our projects. Miss Caitlin Langler and Miss Rachel Chamness were helping are helping us add to the existing historical portraits displayed at the Smizer Plaza in downtown Murphysboro. Notable individuals have been selected by the committee that have in various ways contributed to the history of our town, as well as the state of Illinois, and in some cases our country. Advanced art students are painting portraits of each individual. Students studying with Ms. Chamness are researching the individuals and writing brief biographies, which will be included as part of the accompanying QR code. And our art committee greatly appreciates these teachers and their willingness to go above and beyond expectations to add to public art installations for the community. We also appreciate the students and recognize their hard work and talents that go into adding the richness of the Murphysboro public art projects. The installation of the QR code and portraits is anticipated for some time in January of 2022, and we will let you know the exact date when it's scheduled and hope to see you at Smizer Plaza to honor these teachers and students. Sincerely, Shirley Kreinert.
Very good. That was it? All right, next item is the Freedom of Information Act request. We had one from West Bus Service, and all the information that they requested has been turned over to them in a timely fashion. Item number 10 is the recognition of the audience. The Board of Education welcomes the audience to make public or employee comments. The board has set aside time in the agenda specifically for this purpose. Pursuant to Board Policy 2.230, each speaker shall be limited to a 5-minute presentation. Please be aware that while this is the time for the public to express its opinions and/or concerns, the board may or may not comment regarding public presentations. If a matter of public comment warrants discussion or action of the Board of Education, such discussion or action will be added to the agenda of a future meeting. Are there any public concerns? Yes, ma'am. Can I ask you to come forward because we are recording this? Or can we?
Hi.
Would you like a chair?
No, I'm fine.
All right.
My name is Danae Shaw, and I do have a concern concerning the TikTok video that was put out there, I believe on the 16th. I do know that I read across the letter on Facebook that someone from Carbondale had put on Facebook concerning the matter, and I noticed that Murphysboro's Art School District didn't have anything out there concerning it. Are you guys aware of what I'm talking about?
Yes, and the local law enforcement were contacted, and there was nothing within anywhere near our immediate area.
Right, and I do know that, I can't remember what school it was at, but I know one of the staff had the option of leaving their child at home that day, and it would have been great had we had the option of sending our kids to school or even being aware of it through our school district instead of seeing about it on Facebook from another school district. That was just a concern of mine
Yes, ma'am.
that I had concerning that. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Any other public concerns? Any employee concerns? Very good. We will now move into old business. First item is the adoption of the 2021 tax levy, which is enclosure number 1 at the November board meeting. The board approved the levy amount. We need to formally take action again on that then tonight. Are there any questions from the board? If not, then I will entertain a motion to approve the adoption of the 2021 tax levy as presented. And a second?
Second.
Mrs. Hines.
Mr. Beavers?
Yes.
Mrs. Brazel?
Yes.
Mr. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Bain?
Yes.
Mrs. Evaldi?
Yes.
Mr. Rungy?
Yes, motion carries. Item number 2 is the approval of the Murphysboro Middle School Big Gym Roof. The results of that bid opening were sent to the board today, and it looks like, and I will not pronounce this correctly,
It's CARE.
Care?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Care Brothers West Roofing was the low bid at $248,000 and some change. Are there any questions from the board?
What was architectural estimate on that one?
$375,000.
Okay, I thought it was considerably under.
And there's such variability right now. I know last year when we started our roofing project, it was estimated about $8 a square foot for roofing materials, and now it's somewhere between 12 and 16.
Yeah.
So it's really just escalated just astronomically. So They were thinking more the $375,000 to $400,000 range was what the architects had projected, so all four fell well below that. And obviously, one of the biggest considerations when Darren and, Jim met with them and took them over, Darren took them to see the roof, was discussion of, I know that the supplies are typically right now between a 10 and a 13-month delay, but as soon as you have roofing materials and the project's close date is November of next year, November 22, but if they get them in February of this year, or whenever they get the materials in hand, that roof has just gotten to a state where they're very carefully patching and mindful of the seams and the cracks that it has, so that we don't have damage to the floor underneath, so.
And since these are contractors, obviously we don't deal with too much. Hearst Roche was good with their, that they covered all the bid specs.
We've worked with them before on two
We have.
different, they've done two different roofing projects for the district. It's been a few years ago, but I think middle school and Carruthers, they were the contractor, and we had no
Good.
issues with them.
And he said that he's, beyond our projects, he's worked with them on at least 50 other projects, so he works with them, he said they're extremely fast, and they do a good quality roof.
Where are they located?
Albers,
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Okay.
I'm familiar with it,
Yeah.
so no concerns.
Okay, good.
Any other questions from the board?
And they do prevailing wage and all those
Prevailing
things
wage,
are
yeah.
covered? Okay.
And their capital development board approved, and they had that in there, they're bonded, and so,
Okay.
have all those things.
Anyone else? Then I'll entertain a motion to approve the middle school, big gym roof bid.
So moved. Second.
Mrs. Hines?
Mr. Bame,
Yes.
Mrs. Evaldi,
Yes.
Mr. Green,
Yes.
Mr. Brown,
Yes.
Mr. Beavers,
Yes.
Mrs. Brazel,
Yes.
Mr. Rungy.
Yes, motion carries. We'll move into new business. The first item under new business is the 2021-2022 seniority list, which is enclosure number 2 in your packet. This is informational only. It will be on display and we will act on this in January, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Item number 2 is the press policy update 108, which was sent to us via the email. This also is informational. If the board has any questions, please contact Dr. Evers on that.
And it's voluminous, I mean, it is just, there's nothing in my initial read that is sensational or, really, jarring, but, if I find in my second read that something comes up, I will let the board know that I am on the, Health and Wellness Standard Committee for ISB, so, yeah, I was an appointee a while back, they wanted Southern Illinois representation, so I sat on 2 subcommittees with the Health and Wellness Standards, so we will see how that appointment goes. It's not really in my wheelhouse as a former special ed teacher, but I like healthy, well children, so we'll go with that and thank the state for calling and asking, so.
Very good. Item number 3 is the approval of a tuition-free student for 2021-2022. It's Aiden Lively, who is an 8th grader coming from DuQuoin.
Correct, going middle school.
His parent is Josh Williams, who is the vocational ed teacher out at the high school.
Very excited to have him start. Thought it, doing an early transition before his son gets to high school would be good. His first son got to high school this year and has had a really successful experience at the high school, so.
And I'll entertain a motion to approve that free tuition for that student.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. And the last item is the resolution to adopt the TRS Supplemental Savings Plan, which is enclosure number 3 in your packet. The TRS is offering to current employees a 3% savings plan. It will be automatic for new employees, but they may opt out of it, so it's voluntary. Are there questions?
Can I just say, it's automatically 3% for those new employees, but they can opt out or make changes to, more or less if they would like to do that. And then it is also open to existing employees, on a percentage basis, and at some point, they'll be allowed to do a flat dollar amount, so all can contribute. And the purpose of this is because the Tier 2 pension is not as desirable, it's not as good as the Tier 1 pension, so their TRS has looked at this. Actually, it's the legislature that's pushed this through to try to help plan
Got it.
tier two employees.
And this is coming out of their wages, this isn't something
Correct.
worth paying, right?
There is
Good
always an
plan, so-
option in all those plans for board
Additional,
match,
right.
you know, but district match, but that would be something that would be negotiated.
Other questions from the board? Then I'll entertain a motion to approve the recommendation for the adoption of the TRS Supplemental Savings Plan.
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Mrs. Hines.
Mr. Green,
Yes.
Mrs. Brazel,
Yes.
Mr. Brown,
Yes.
Mrs. Evaldi,
Yes.
Mr. Bain,
Yes.
Mr. Beavers, Mr. Reagan.
Yes, motion carries. We have a need to go into closed session.
I make a motion to go into closed session pursuant to section 2 of the Open Meetings Act 5, Illinois compiled statutes 120/2C to review the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the district, including hearing testimony on a complaint lodged against an employee to determine its validity, and number 2, a student disciplinary case.
And a second?
Second.
Mrs. Hines.
Mr. Beavers,
Yes.
Mrs. Evaldi,
Yes.
Mr. Bain,
Yes.
Mrs. Brazel,
Yes.
Mr. Green,
Yes.
Mr. Brown,
Yes.
Mr. Rungy.
Yes, motion carries.